Hi, I am here in mid-November on the Conejos River up in southern Colorado. It's so beautiful here. Got my little partner here, Atlas. There she is, looking back at us. She's such a good girl. Yeah, I just needed to, I wanted to get out, get into some nature. It's been intense recently. And yeah, it's really been quite the moment. And yeah, I came down to the river today and just only had a couple of hours. Takes about an hour and a half to get here from Taos, and this is a really good place for me to be able to bring Atlas because she can access the riverbank really easily. Whereas, like when I go down into the Taos, the Rio Grande Gorge, Taos box, like fishing down in there, it's hard for her to navigate. So we wanted to come up here. Only really fished about 100 yards of the river here, and uh, caught a couple of really nice young healthy brown trout, and then I caught one really beautiful brown trout, like um, yeah, easily a few pounds, very healthy, real thick. Spots were all lit up, colorful, like getting ready for their spawn maybe. And yeah, just me wanted to come out here. It's been the last 6 weeks or so has been intense. While my partner Amy was over in South Africa, I served myself a medicine journey, and it had been my first journey in like 2 years, so it was kind of overdue, and it was a big experience. There was a lot of energy to get cleared out of my field, and and then that was, well, simultaneously she was over there, and then recently had a served myself a follow-up journey, which was also pretty intense and really beautiful. But it really had me focusing in a number of ways. A lot of insights recently about the realms of crystalline light. I if you work with me in healing sessions, maybe we've had this come up in recent time, but the higher dimensional expression of this reality includes being able to access these realms of crystalline light. And I would put it on my scale of like frequency. It probably starts around 6th density. Like if the Earth is 3D, where whoa, there was a nice fish just jumped right in front of me. This is a really sweet little stretch of river here. I'm gonna have to come fish this again. And these, this, 3D is kind of the old Earth that we're shifting out of. 5D, being the like ascended Earth, right? The new Earth. And then like the 6D it's still a physical experience in many ways, but you begin bringing in these higher dimensional expressions of energy and of consciousness, including the realms of crystalline light. So I've been like working with this a lot in the last many months. And it was basically telling me during these medicine experiences, they said, right now we all need to get as much access into light as we can, which means there's another fish just jumped. I think it's before I get out of here, I'm going to throw my slides right through there again. Yeah, that it's really important that we get outside, get away from the fluorescent lights, get away from the LED lights, get away from the high resolution screens, step outside into nature, hopefully. But if you're like in the middle of a big city or something, there are parks. You can go to a park. Like, gosh, I used to live in New York City, Central Park, Prospect Park. There are numerous parks around there that are, a good way to be able to go in and ground, like with seeing the trees and Yeah, but in this case, I like to come out here into the wilderness, into Colorado or northern New Mexico, around where I live, and coming out here then, and especially like in the early morning and in the late afternoon, right? That's when the frequency of the sunlight, it's easiest to perceive these realms of crystalline light, perceiving the crystalline light. Like, one way that you can do this is in the late afternoon, in that golden hour of light, in the like hour before the sun sets, when everything washes a little bit more gold. You can do some sun gazing, looking towards the sunset, and you squint your eyes, like you look at the sunset and you just squint. You squint your eyes and you find that point where your eyelids are barely open. And when you're in that kind of, I look funny doing that, but when you're doing this squint, you have all your eyelashes are like overlapped and helping to filter the light, and it creates this thing where it's almost like refracting the light, or maybe it's blocking enough of the intensity that we can like easily perceive it. And when you're squinting like that, looking at the sun in that golden hour, you'll see these crystalline rays, rainbow golden light. It's like a rainbow. There's like a rainbow prismatic frequency, but they're golden, and it almost looks like an angel. It's like they come out sideways and they come out vertically off of the sun. And it's that light. Like, then you can like look and you can focus on that, and you can see around the sun there's often this like shades of like violet and lilac and lavender frequency, like purple light frequency around the sun. And then coming off of there are these like rays. There's like rays of light going. It almost looks like the New Mexico state flag, like the Zia. Maybe that's where they got it from. But when you squint and you look there and you get, it's like bam, it'll give you that crystalline feeling where you can see the prismatic effect that is in the light. It's like this is a quality of the light. It's not the light like refracting, off of your eyelashes that creates that like an optical effect. It's you're actually able to perceive the light when the sun is low to the horizon, and it helps to squint like that. So anyhow, that's how you can go and practice that. I do that every day, like whether it be in the morning, where like when the sun rises, it kind of comes in through my sunroom, and you see me doing healing sessions in there sometimes, and then and then in the afternoon, trying to catch the sunset and breathing it in. That's the key. Working with these, how do we work with these higher dimensional light if we barely even understand it? Well, we can literally breathe in those frequencies. Those frequencies are coming in, and as you inhale, you're intending it to be like a pump. This is like Qigong and Tai Chi practice. You can Chi pump, you can, as you're breathing it in, you pump it right in, right through the pituitary gland, right through your pineal gland, like into the third eye. And then as you exhale, you can distribute that crystalline light through your body, through your field. And as it gets distributed through, you can see it. It's like rays of crystal. It's like if you're looking at like a quartz crystal and an emerald crystal and a ruby crystal, with the prismatic light, this golden light, and the crystalline light moves through every single cell in your body, and it removes distortions. It clears negative energy. I think this is really important for us to be doing this kind of grounding right now because of where we're at within this process. I think everybody that's been tracking these energies for years is getting frustrated at the snail's pace that it seems to be unfolding. But I promise, it's like there's so much has already been achieved, and we are watching the unfolding of this energy right now. But how we can assist ourselves, how we can awaken our creator God being, godhood. This is who we are. We are creator God beings from higher dimension that have come here to shepherd this, to be the caretakers for this realm of infinite creation that is called the earth. And it's a living library of life, genetic material from all sorts of life populates this entire world, and we just think it's this like, oh, that's a tree. Oh, there goes a bird. We're water, like flowing fresh water. It's a miracle, this world, and we are the creator God beings, and in order to embody the truth of who we are, the fullness of who we are, this is one of the practices that we need to be doing right now. Breathing in this crystalline light, flooding. You're using your imagination. That's the third eye, right? It's the imagination. We've just been told all of our lives that the imagination is not valid. It's our creation power, and use the imagination and flood the crystalline light through every single cell. If you have like weird abnormal cell tissue growth, or flood the crystalline light right through it. Flood it through your organs, flood it through your blood. See it like crystalline light just charging, racing, spiraling through your circulatory system as that heart, which is just like a torsion field generator, is just sitting there and distributing this through your body. Yeah, we've gone through major solar activity recently, and it ain't done yet. And there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet right now. Be very discerning about where you throw your energy, especially if they're creating any level of fear. The solar event that we're in it happens on a regular cycle every 12,000 years and every 6,000 years. There's a half cycle event, but every 12,000 years the Earth's magnetic field reverses. And we can see this in the polarity of the way that rock is crystallized and other things. And this event happens every 12,000 years, and we're in it. 12,000 years ago was the end of the last ice age, roughly, in the so-called Younger Dryas event, where there was massive, catastrophic sea level rise across the world, which ended a civilization, which is commonly referred to as Atlantis. Looks like Atlas, I think, just saw something up the river. And the solar events, in the third dimension, when this event, when the Earth's magnetic field reverses and the sun's field is reversing, when this occurs, historically, every 12,000 years in the geologic record, you can see that there's a catastrophe, pole shift, massive events, inundation of continental land masses by the oceans as the crust unlocks and moves around. That's the 3D level expression. That's why I think deep anxiety and fear is being triggered within people right now worldwide, because every single human being on Earth has an ancestor that survived one of these events. It's in our DNA. We are literally the DNA of the survivors of cataclysmic events. And then there's also, of course, modification that has occurred to our DNA, but that's a whole other topic. And so, there's a lot of fear and anxiety because the body is recognizing the magnetic field reversal. It's recognizing the change in frequency in the sunlight. But we don't need to worry about this. You're welcome to prepare, get your food and your water, but really to survive one of those events in the 3D is not a very common activity to do. But the thing is that this event that is occurring, it's not just this physical transition, it's actually a phase shift. It's the phase shift in the frequency of the whole planet. The planet's already shifted, but as we move through this culmination event, we see the Earth human consciousness also shifting. And then as these solar impacts happen, these massive auroral displays, the coronal mass ejections, the X-class solar flares, and we've got the Earth's magnetic field seriously reduced right now, so it can't protect us in certain ways from these cosmic energies. And the cosmic energy is going to initiate a radical shift in consciousness and our state of being. It's a phase shift into the higher dimensions. So how can we work with this? One of the ways, get outside into nature, look up at the stars when you're outside, go outside at night and look at the stars. Look for the light shifts that are everywhere. I see them all the time, you know? So go outside, breathe deeply, have gratitude for this natural environment. I mean, I do. It's really beautiful here. Oh my God. I hope that that's helpful. I hope that that helps you to navigate the intensity of the solar activity. You know, breathe into crystalline light and clear the distortions from your field that are being triggered and brought up right now. I mean, my gosh. Been getting kind of triggered recently. All right. Peace be to all of you. I love you. Have a good day. And I think Atlas and I are going to we're going to fish through this section here one more time to see if we can catch those guys. And then we're heading home.